We'll see. I don't want to reveal too much, but it's unlikely, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah.
March is
he doesn't want to reveal too much. That's the whole point of the segment.
Right? I don't want to reveal too much on Park the Bus.
You never do reveal anything.
The boss. Why not? This is where you've
got
to be giving us a bit of a teaser.
For the rosters where it happens. I just gave you a teaser. Look.
This is Park the Bus with Stephen Caldwell, Kevin Kilbane and Luke Wileman.
Welcome into Graham Leggett's for another edition of Park the Bus. MLS kicking off this weekend. Plenty of Canadian internationals involved. Yeah. We had the double header on Saturday night. The Whitecaps getting off to a winning start. Wasn't a good day for Montreal, was it?
No,
it really wasn't.
Really poor from Montreal. They were not at the races against San Diego. Man sent off as well. So bad start. It was underwhelming for the three Canadian teams, to be honest. Although Vancouver got the 3 points. Wasn't a great performance by them either, Kevin.
No, I think you'd probably said it early on in the game as well, where you two were calling the Montreal game. It felt like they were going to get beat 4 or 5 at the start of the match. That's the way it seemed like. He just didn't start the game well. And Vancouver, I suppose you can give them a little bit of an out to say it wasn't a great performance, but got the job done. And sometimes we always feel, don't we? Sometimes you're not going to play well every week, and you've got to get over the line and get a win. TFC, the bits that I saw of that, I watched a lot of the extended highlights of that, and it just, again, there's a lot to come, isn't there, from them? It's just a long way to go from if we're expecting, or TFC are expecting to go from where they were in the last few seasons to be a serious contender. They don't look at that level just yet.
You've got to be better defensively.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you go away from home, score 2 goals, and you don't get anything for the game.
Yeah.
And they look like they could have conceded more. They look vulnerable again, not doing the game, but watching it back, it didn't look great. Looked like, to Kev's point, there's a big gap from where they are and where they want to be, where they need to go to sort of finish in top 4 in the East. Seems like a gap that'll be hard to bridge.
Ralph Priso played for the Whitecaps again at the weekend. Started in the centre of defence. Just the one small movement on Stevie's race for the roster this week.
What is it?
At least he's done something.
He's gone
at least he's done something. Right. So the players on the bubble.
Why are you laughing?
I've been saying to him for weeks. I've been saying to him, like, Ralph Priso's got to be in with a shot here.
So he hasn't moved him into the squad. He's moved him into the
bubble. He's made it to the bubble.
So he's made it to the bubble. So he's still on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But at least he's looking now.
Yeah. And So I want to ask you the question then: who's he looking at then? How many centre halves is Jesse Marsh going to take?
He's dropped Miller out of the bubble.
Miller's out the bubble.
Miller was on the outside, but he's gone altogether.
I agree with that.
So the 5 centre-backs that I've got in there, Bombito.
So you think he's actually going to take 5? Is that what you...
I think he'll take 5.
Right.
I think he needs that extra centre-back. I might be wrong, but I do think...
And number 5 is Waterman, yes?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so we've got Bombito, Cornelius, De Fugero, Alfie Jones and Joe
From what
Waterman.
I've seen of Priso playing that position, I think he fits the profile way better for a Jesse Marsh side than Joel Waterman.
You're probably right, but he's done very well for Canada, Joe Waterman, and he has experience, and he is a centre-back. He's played there his whole career. You're trying to see a game out, you're maybe trying to get a point or the 3 points, a victory, and you need someone for 15 minutes. It's coming into the box. It's coming into the box. Waterman's a guy, isn't he?
Priso tall enough to be a central defender on the World Cup stage?
Honestly,
does it matter?
No, I don't think it matters as
well.
much. I don't think it matters as much. I think he reads the game really well. I think anything down the side is what Jesse Marsh is.
That's his big thing.
The sides are going to push high. They're going to squeeze high. We know that. So he's going to have the recovery pace. That stands him alone ahead of Joel Waterman. Look,
you said I think you said at the weekend that Ralph Priso could make this World Cup squad.
I do. I think he's got a good chance. I think he's got a good chance at it.
He wouldn't even be in the starting 11 for the Whitecaps if Veselinovic was fit. He wouldn't be playing there in that position.
But he's given him the number 6 when obviously the number change had to go ahead. It obviously suggests that that's where they see him now as a centre half.
Yeah,
that's where they see him. So whether or not he's going to be second or third choice, there was talk of Blackman leaving across the summer as well.
Yeah.
That's continued. I don't think it's a big drop from Tristan Blackman to Ralph Priso. I don't think it's a big drop-off. MLS Defender of the Year, had a good season, but I think he's quicker than Blackman. I think he reads the game better than Blackman. I think he's improving year upon year.
It's a big statement, though, Defender of the Year,
it's the
Tristan Blackman.
No, but I don't think it's a big drop-off. I don't think it's a big drop-off, personally. I don't think that. I think Veselinovic makes Blackman better.
Right.
That's the way I think.
And it's going to be a while anyway.
Well, it's going to be a while. But I think at the minute they've got 5 defenders that are sort of starters, let's call it. They've got Laborda and Ocampo. They'll fight out at right back. You could say Laborda can play 3 of the positions: right back, centre back, left back. Tate Johnson. Blackman's going to start for me most of the games, and Ralph Priso will get a lot of minutes in that centre back position.
I thought he played well at the weekend.
Really good. I thought he was their best player.
Yeah,
When I think back,
I agree.
He was their best player.
I think he was probably the best player on the pitch, and I think you watch it overall, and you're seeing a guy that's still developing his game. We know that he's not obviously left TFC as a midfielder, which I felt was a mistake at the time. However anyone views it, I'm not saying that in hindsight. I felt at the time that there was something more to come from him, and I think that you could have developed Priso better with what was available to TFC at that time. But anyway, they let him go
because they were so disappointing, though, TFC, that a lot of the young boys, they're such a poor team. A lot of the young boys were really losing confidence. So I think it helped Priso's career to get away.
Yes.
No matter that it never worked out at Colorado.
But what a story it would be if someone makes the World Cup squad as a defender, having only been moved back there because of the fact that they had injuries. And this time last year, no way we're thinking of Ralph Priso as a central defender.
But what else? I'll also say to you, there's probably, if we're talking Miller and Waterman, that's his competition that's going to go in, none of those two have played as bigger games as Ralph Priso in the last year. He has played such high-profile games and excelled in the high-profile games. In the playoffs, he was outstanding.
Doesn't look phased, does he?
No, not
so
at all.
if it was Kevin Kilbane's race for the roster right now,
I'd love to watch that. I'd
Eh?
watch that, Kevin Kilbane's
Well, you
race for
did,
the
would
roster.
you? The times you're away,
No,
you did.
he was just trying to wind me up when
and
he
then
did
you
mine.
don't change everything back.
When he did mine, he was just trying to wind me up by changing everything. I'd like it to be his segment, so I could
give it to him
critique
then,
No,
you can have it.
No, it's your segment. That's what I love it. There's no one better than you at doing it, Stevie. There's no one more accomplished in doing it right now. But what's the question that you want to ask me, though, Luke?
You would have Ralph Priso in the 26?
If I was naming the squad right now today, yes. I think he's better than Waterman. I think the profile of Jesse Marsh's side, I think he's better than Waterman. So that's where we're looking at the battle now. Miller, are we saying Miller's out? Are we saying...
He's not even starting in Portland. They're on one game, but... I don't see Miller coming back. We know his profile doesn't suit Jesse as well. You know, and I know he's played games for Jesse, but I just don't think Miller's going to make it. I think the 5 that I've got in at the minute are definitely ahead of Miller. And then you've got Priso coming into the fold.
Is 5
6
normal?
centre-backs.
Would you usually
take...
take...
It's a 36-man squad.
Right, instead
so
23,
one or two positions get heavier than normal, right?
But also, he could take 4, and he's still got Richie Larea that can play in them, and Alistair Johnson as well, that could play in those positions. So that might be something that's in Jesse. It gives him an extra midfielder or an extra attacker, doesn't it?
Well, when you were sick, was it last week, the week before, when you were like really unwell? Remember?
Sorry, first time I missed the show.
You never made the show.
I don't know how many shows you've missed, Stevie. But anyway.
I actually talked about Richie Larea.
Maybe
playing centre back.
Oh,
What's your views on that?
I didn't hear that.
Actually. Didn't listen.
Yeah, he was sick.
I missed that.
What's your views on that? Do you think if there's injuries in that position and you've got the depth in the fullback area, would Jesse consider putting Rich into the centre back role?
Absolutely, yeah. Again, that's one where he's got the pace. Height could be the problem, but again, we're not going to have sides that's going to, bombard with aerial, pressure. I think from a lot of the time at the start of the match. So, yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening. And if it were to be that you've got 2 injuries and say Ralph Priso was in the squad because he can play in a number of positions as well, I think he'd rather play Richie Larea than Priso at centre half. I think that's what he probably would do.
So here's the other thing. We don't know yet when Alfie Jones will be back. It's gone quiet a bit with Derek Cornelius. He was supposed to be getting back. We don't know what's going on with him. Right? We don't know about Luke Dufugerol's form right now.
Been up and down.
So there are some question marks. Boyce Bombito as well.
But we've not heard a lot from France on Bombito, and we would be expecting to hear he's back on the grass, he's running a little bit. We've not heard a thing, so
I think Jesse Marsh has to be worried about that one because we know
he's the one, isn't he?
We know he's the one, exactly. And he's a difference maker for Canada, how they play. He can be left one-on-one. If they're exposed a little bit, he's got the pace and the awareness. I just think overall what he's going to bring to Canada, they need him. So I think it is a worry. We've heard nothing. We've heard nothing around it, and I'm sure Jesse is constantly monitoring that situation and all over it.
Talking of worries, when you got back home on the early hours of Sunday morning, after we'd done the 2 MLS games and scraped the ice off the car, and oh my goodness, I'm done with it. I'm so done with it.
Winter or MLS?
Winter.
It's only day 1 of MLS. Give me a few more weeks. Were you up all night worrying about Alphonso Davies and his hamstring?
Wasn't up all night, but slept uneasy. Slept uneasy because of that hamstring, I'll tell you. It's not good. It's another injury for Davies, and he's in his mid-20s now, 25. So he's at that point where things are just starting to appear in terms of breakdown. Now he's coming off an ACL, and most players coming off an ACL pick up someone else. So I don't want to be too harsh on him, but I'm just worried that he's picking up these muscle injuries, Kev. It's going to take a bit away from Alphonso's game because explosivity is what he's all about, right? If he loses that, he's going to lose something significant in his play. Yeah, it's safe to say Luke didn't lose any sleep over it. No, I think we know that, don't we? So, no, he doesn't lose any sleep over anything, to be honest with you. But no, I think with Davies right now, the biggest concern that we've said constantly through is, and it's something that Jesse Marsch has spoke about, and how he works with the side and how every camp is towards that first game. Yeah. So every camp they're working on something constantly, whether that's the press, whether that's the shape of the side without the ball, whether that's in the final third, the creativity side of it. And he's missed out on an awful lot of that work that Jesse Marsch has put in on the coaching side. For sure. Yeah, but loads of them have. Yes, that's right. And now we're looking at March without Alphonso Davies. And a number of others. Alistair Johnston, Moise Bombito. Well, Johnson might be back. Yeah. We don't know for sure. Do you know what I'll add, though? March next week. I know. Yeah, 3 weeks to the camp. But it's the end of March, the camp. So I think Johnson's got a chance because he's on the grass and he's working through things. I don't know how close he is. But they've got to take it. First team. They've got to make sure. Absolutely. With him. Make sure it's right. Perfect. I'm just thinking there, my big call is that Davies plays left midfield. I know, you're going to say the same thing what I'm thinking. Yeah. And he's not going to get a chance to do that in March, probably. Yeah. So his only position's left back. Yeah. Is he going to come in June and fire him in that left midfield position? And so it's a race for the roster change then next week. Is that what it is? We'll see. I don't want to reveal too much, but it's unlikely, isn't it, Kev? Yeah. March is a chance. He doesn't want to reveal too much. That's the whole point of the segment. Right? I don't want to reveal too much on Part of the Bus. You never do reveal anything. The boss. Why not? This is where you've got to be giving us a bit of a teaser. Race for the roster's where it happens. I just gave you a teaser. Look, I think unquestionably Alphonso Davies in Canada jersey has to play as a left winger. That's the way I'd say it. But, and it is the big question that's going to be going around, is that, as you say, the lack of time with the squad and his ability to work on with Alphonso Davies, Jesse Marsch. Like the tactics of it, you mean, I think that's going to go against him. So you're saying right now, if he's not in March, left back, he has to start left back in the World Cup. I'm not saying that. I think it will be. I'd pose the question. I think it's a highly obliging. I know, but I pose the question to you. No, I still think the position that Alphonso Davies plays will be determined by him more than Jesse's plan. It looks like he wants to play. Because I don't think he's played. Has he played left mid for Jesse Marsch? No, but that's where he wants to play. No, I don't think. No, not by. You think he wants to play higher up? He wants to play higher up. Yeah. I would say that. Have you been skiing with Alphonso Davies? Just like no, I didn't go skiing. No, I was playing video games. Well, yeah. Over 20. Over 21. What do you think? Yeah, there's a whole door on that one. Video games. I opened them. You ate them out the park. There you go. Anyway, lads. No, but I don't. Where were we now? Video games. What? He wants to play. He wants to play. Yeah, absolutely. You know that. I'd say with a fair amount of certainty that he wants to play as an attacker within Jesse Marsch's side. Why do you think that is? How do you know that? I just think the suggestion has been said to me on a number of occasions. I've heard it through the grapevine on a few occasions. Which vine's that? There's a few. There's a few threads to that grapevine that comes into me, and everything that I've heard through all the streams that I'm listening to is that's where he wants to play. Right. Yeah. I think he'll want to play there as well. I think he'll want to have big moments and be involved in goals, assists and scoring goals at the World Cup. And obviously playing higher up gives him a better chance of achieving that. I'm with Kev. I think when it comes to it, he'll probably have a quiet word with Jesse and say, try me higher. And the fact that he's not going to get a chance to do that in March could be an issue in terms of Jesse sanctioning that. You know, we know Canada haven't been breaking down sides, right? They've not been scoring, but they've not been conceding goals, have they? So a lot of the games have been low-scoring games, and the way that Canada play and
the structure of that side leads to a team that's not going to concede an awful lot. But it comes from the start. It comes from the front, doesn't it? We know about modern football is your press and the structure of your side. The defensive unit comes from the front. How the striker's pressing, what the midfield players are doing behind him. That's a big part of Jesse Marsch's plan. So he has to do that. It's the only way that he's going to play for Jesse Marsch there. And it is an out for Jesse just to go, we put him at left back. Yeah. And he still provides the attacking outlet for them because he's going to be, he's not going to stop running forward. He's not going to stop on the overlapping runs. That's not going to change from his game. But Jesse Marsch, I think I think in his own mind, the way that he coaches and how methodical he is, he has to have that full structure of the midfield press that's working to help the defence out, and also the goalkeeper.
But we're not just talking about Alphonso Davies. Over the course of the last year and Jesse Marsch's structure and everything that he's been trying to do with the group as a whole, as he drills it in how he wants to play.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to June, and Alfie Jones will only have had one camp.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was last fall. Moise Bombito, if he's back, won't have been in for 12 months.
Yeah.
You're looking at other players as well across that. Alistair Johnston's been missing a while, but he's got the body of work before that, so he knows what to do in terms of the way Jesse Marsch wants to play. But you're looking at those 2 games in June against Uzbekistan and then Ireland. Probably for the first time we see Jesse Marsch's 11.
Yeah.
And for some of those players, they won't have been in for a while.
Yeah.
How big a worry is that? Or does it?
It's a concern. I wouldn't call it a worry because a lot of the names you mentioned there are big-time players playing at big clubs.
But Jesse Marsch is all about the collective and everybody being doing their job and where everybody else is and what job they're doing.
I understand that and the organisation and working on things, but he has such clear parameters in terms of the style, the formation, the tactics that he uses, Jesse Marsch, that I don't think it'll be confusing for these guys. I don't think it's going to change too much. So even although they've been in camps a year ago or whatever, the standard of players that they are.
It's not ideal though, is it?
It's not ideal.
Like
it's not ideal.
If you'd had the same squad,
I think it's a fair
the
point.
same squad playing the last 3 camps, you've had the same 11.
Ideal. But who does have that?
No. I know.
Nobody
a lot of other
There's
nations will
injuries.
have the problems. I know that. But the one thing I'll just add to it, it's a totally fair point, and I think it's absolutely right to suggest what Luke's saying here is the worry around that. Say Alphonso Davies starts the World Cup as an attacker, a left attacker. Jesse Marsch will be absolutely giving him footage, giving him the knowledge of video analysis, what he expects from him, how he's expecting him to press, and the video. Is Alphonso Davies the type of player that would take all that on board and really study that to become that better player? Do you feel you know him a little bit better than I would do? Do you think Alphonso Davies will take all that on board if that sort of information was passed on to him?
Yes, he can take it on board. He's capable of taking it on board. Has he been the most receptive to coaching pointers in the past with Canada? No, I don't think so. I think he's someone that plays at one of the biggest clubs in the world and assumes that his level at that club gives him a bit of licence with Canada. And we've seen that leniency at times. But this is a World Cup, and someone, whether it's someone in his team or it's Jesse or someone in Jesse's team, has to convince Alphonso Davies that listening and playing in the position and the style that he needs is going to be beneficial for his country and beneficial for him through the World Cup.
Go on. If that was going to happen, right? Let's say now Alphonso Davies isn't available for March, and Jesse Marsch suddenly, out of nowhere, decides to take your advice on board and play Alphonso Davies as a left midfielder, having never done so up until this point, right? And knowing he only has 2 games with him, surely he goes and spends time with him in Germany. He goes to all these different games. He talks to players. So go and
have
do
some
that
video meetings with him.
Have some meetings with him. Go
bring his analysis. Yes, right. I think that would be the ideal scenario for him. He'd have to. Yeah, he would have to.
But don't you think a big thing that plays into this is Larea and Ali Ahmed's form as well?
Yeah.
Like, there's a bit of competition going on there for that other place.
And we've already said, Ali Ahmed.
Yeah.
I don't think he has been great in the last 3 games from a creativity but he gives them so much when they don't have the ball. Canada's best player in the last year we've all probably agreed on it, in a Canadian shirt, has been Richie Laryea. So I would always go on the fact is that you've got to respect the jersey, respect the player that's in situ right now, and you've got to start with Richie Laryea. That's what I don't. All the notion around.
He played a lot of minutes in centre midfield on Saturday night.
Richie Laryea has to start that game with the current form.
So do you? And you guys have played at international level. If you're a manager of an international team, are you comfortable? Say Richie Laryea doesn't play left back for Toronto FC. Maybe doesn't even play right back much. Spends some time in midfield, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you go and start that player in a World Cup in a different position for his club than he plays for his club?
I think it's because he's played so much there for Canada now, hasn't he? Jesse knows he can rely on him.
Yeah, but we're talking maybe 4 times since last November.
Yeah.
Like 4 Canada games.
Yeah, no, it's a
and
fair
you play
point.
somewhere else completely.
If
you were going in playing... I mean, I'm sure there were times when you were playing left back for your club, or you played left.
Right side. I played right side, and that's
There's
true.
There's a lot of times, Kev, that you play the same position for your club as you do for your country.
No, it's true. That happens.
You get adjusted.
Unless you're one of the main players, then you're right. You've got to go in and fit. You've got to fit around the team because you're not that good to suggest that I can go in and pick my position. So
you know why that is? Because international managers want their best players on the field. Kevin Kilbane was for a long time in Ireland's best 11, and he was flexible and capable of playing.
About that, but,
for sure.
The
point I'm making is he was capable of playing in other positions, so he got moved around. Because
I played right side. I played central midfield. I played left back, left side midfield.
But this is the key, Kev.
I even played centre forward once or twice.
Did you?
But
I'd like to see that.
Last 20 minutes
at international level.
Yeah, last 20 minutes of game.
But guys, the key is that they want the best players on the field, and that's what we got to keep it top of mind here when we're considering left mid and left back.
Well, you do, because you're doing that.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it. And that's what I'm thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
When it comes to crunch and Jesse Marsh is picking that team for that first game, he wants to know he's got guys he can trust, guys that are capable of handling the occasion, and that he feels are in his best.
And also, just in relation to Laryea is, and we spoke about it so much, what do you do? Say he has the conversation, the tough conversation, you drop, you're not going to play. Immediately, Canada, you've taken that edge from the team by not having Laryea in the side. That the edge has been getting them the performances and the results in the last year, and that's what Laryea brings to the side. So
he's important.
It's
well, the other thing as well is with that, there are certain situations where Richie Laryea would come off the bench and impact a game, but there are probably more where you'd use Ali Ahmed off the bench in that situation.
That's
and
true.
Listening to the esteemed new Wigan Athletic manager this week, Gary Caldwell, Sir Gary Caldwell, as he's now known in Wigan after their opening win.
A nightmare at the weekend, didn't he? I love that. We both played for Wigan as well.
The defending was terrible at the weekend. I watched it. They conceded too many crosses and they were horrible.
They were 2-2 for a while though.
They were up 2-1.
They got a man sent off.
They were up 1 and then 2-1.
Stephen Sessegnon, Ryan's twin brother.
Yes,
yeah, he didn't have a great game, and he the striker nearer the end as well.
But the point was, he was talking about, and it's something John Herdman talked about a long way back with the women's side of things. He's not calling them substitutes; he's calling them finishers.
Yeah, he's been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Is that what Gaz says?
Yeah.
You don't like that?
I might have to have a word with him.
Don't like that, do you? I don't like it either.
I'll have a chat.
No, I was listening to it. He's talking about how the 11 did a great job, the finishers came on and impacted the game. Right?
You don't like that, do you?
Hey?
He doesn't like that. He's not happy with that.
It's just cringe, lads, isn't it? Come on. You're a substitute. You come on to... Yeah, you want to make an impact on the game. You're gutted you're not playing.
What about positive
you have a specific
mental
role.
attitude, you know?
You have a specific role these days.
Let's move on from the finish.
Right? Okay. But the point is that Jesse Marsh has to think about that when he's thinking about his game plan.
He has to think
and who are the finishers that are going to come on.
He has to think about the substitutes that's going to come on and make an impact on the game. We've all been subbed. When you substitute, you probably more than us, Luke, to be fair. But when you come off the bench, you want to make an impact.
Yeah. I was never ever a sub. I was always the starting right back. When I was playing for the Pomona Panthers, I was the starting right back and club man of the year. Right? Club man of the year.
Yeah. I think it's a big point, though, that how you think the game is going to go. You got to somehow visualise the game in your mind and think who's coming in for the last 20 minutes that can have the biggest impact.
And another one injured this weekend. Fingers crossed it's not going to be as longer term as it looked when he was being stretchered off the pitch.
And
he's promised David.
He will be a finisher, won't he?
And promised, that's what we're...
No, he's
hopefully
a finisher.
More ways than one.
He's a finisher because he scores goals. To me, you're a finisher, you score goals. You don't finish games. That's the way I look at it.
Is he Canada's most important 12th man? I know you think he might start.
Is he their most important finisher?
Yeah. I don't think he will start. You're asking... I don't think he will. I just feel as though...
Most important sub, eh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He is the... And again, he's going to bring the unpredictability, the player that the opposition won't, and again we go back to this point we said the other week, the coaching staff will know about him, but the players will not know too much about him. They won't really realise what he's going to bring to the game, and that's the real trump card, I think, for Jesse.
The worry is it's very close now to even an injury that's going to keep you out 2 to 3 weeks could well make you not necessarily derail at a club level, but you're not going to be here in March.
Yeah, well...
you're going to miss a crucial camp.
Yeah, and also just the continuity and the game fitness, whatever you want to call it, is so important. If you miss 4 or 5 weeks at this point, it is going to affect you. It's going to affect that camp, but it's going to affect how you kind of finish the season and either fly into the World Cup or come in a little bit gingerly, a little bit tentative.
I know.
You don't want
the other
that,
thing is,
I love him as well. I do love him.
You do love him, eh?
Big time.
I think he's your favourite player.
15
I think he
goals,
could be my
is it?
current favourite player. Yeah. Every time I'm just waiting for a goal, and then I'm just trying to get onto Twitter or whatever to see the goal as quickly as I can. If I'm not watching the game, I think he's going to do well. Him.
Do you think there's talk of him making a big move after the World Cup? Is he at the level? Well, I mean, scoring goals in Belgium.
Yeah.
But can he go to the Premier League and do the same thing? Or does he need more to his game to be able to do that?
It's a big ask, and I think he does need more. I think that's fair to say. But I've read in the last month, Everton, Leeds, West Ham.
They all like him.
There must be 6 or 8 teams that are seriously monitoring. I could see Moisey working with him. I could see David Moyes taking him. But I also could see him at West Ham or... a Leeds.
So have you recommended him to Everton?
No, I haven't, no.
Hey?
No, I've not been asked the question. No, I haven't.
No, you can pick up the phone. You can recommend him to Everton.
Yeah, I could. And if I was asked the question, I would recommend him, I would.
But do you think he could...
Yeah, because I think he's someone that... I know how David Moyes works. Right. I know that David Moyes would work with him and he could become something.
For the Premier League, it depends on... I mean, it does to a certain extent with every player, but especially with him, the situation he's in, the team he's at, the manager that he's got there. Right? You're not going to go into a Nottingham Forest and have 4 managers in a season and then be bombed out and be somewhere completely different.
And I would say with Promise David and just in relation to Everton have had a lot of his profile, the type of striker that in the last 10 years, and they haven't worked out. So I think he will need time. He will need to develop. He will need to bring certain aspects of his game and improve them. That's ultimately what he needs. But that's the case across the Premier League. As I said, any one of those sides we mentioned...
Not get time, though, in the Premier League, do they?
Forest, there was another side I think was mentioned for him as well.
But let's remember, I mean, you can pick up the phone to David Moyes and say what you said on this podcast, which was that Promise David is better form than Erling Haaland right now.
No,
remember?
I didn't say that. No, all I said is it reminds me of Erling Haaland.
Reminds me of Erling Haaland. He's still in better form.
Erling Haaland. Well, he had...
Pick up the phone and say, hey, Moyes, you should sign this guy. He's new Haaland.
I've not got the stats in front of me.
Is that what you said, the new Haaland?
No, I didn't say that. But I've not got the stats in front of me. I'd like to know how many goals Erling Haaland has scored since Christmas and how many goals Promise David since Christmas.
One of your favourite strikers, Haaland, as well.
He's going off the boil ahead of the World Cup.
Haaland, he's not playing well.
He had an assist at the weekend, didn't he? I think his game is improving. He's still not got a world-class touch just yet, but he's improving his game under Pep at the moment,
I don't know if Promise David is refined enough for the Premier League. He will need time. And so the club that he chooses will be vital, because if he goes to a club where the manager's under severe pressure, which is every manager at Forest every moment, it might not be the right kind of place,
Forest
even West Ham.
But
if he goes to Everton with Moisey, where, let's face it,
you can look at it.
It's unlikely they sack Moisey.
If he goes to a club at the bottom of the Premier League that's in trouble, and the side's in trouble, they're getting beat every week and they're going to get relegated, and yet he finds 10 goals. That could be a great thing for him, that he's found scoring goals in a poor side. He gets a move, doesn't he? He gets another move off the back of it. So it's, I don't know. There's so many ways you look at it, and there's so many different scenarios that can go for him. But I do feel going to the Premier League, he needs work, but given time, I think he could be someone special.
One of the best things from a Canadian perspective this weekend, I think, was seeing Stefan Eustaquio make his MLS debut for LAFC.
Yes,
they played really well, but Stefan Eustaquio, he got an assist on one of the goals, but he played 90 minutes.
Yeah,
and that was a huge thing. The LAFC taking Miami apart in front of 70,000 at the Coliseum was a big event, big occasion. Mark Dos Santos, of course, former Whitecaps boss, a Canadian in charge now of LAFC. And Stefan Eustaquio, when he went there, we talked about going to a good club, that's going to be at the top of MLS, and he's going to get the minutes.
Yeah.
And he's got 90 minutes straight out of the gate under his belt, and that's exactly what Stefan Eustaquio needs, isn't it?
Did need it.
Now do it again and again.
That's it. But we know he can, fitness-wise. Covered every blade of grass. You know,
I think he was the second most distance in the game that he covered.
He's someone that I think brings that energy. We've talked about his importance for any team that he plays for. Right away, he's established himself as someone who is going to get on the ball. He's going to add some power and some pace to the middle area of the field. And I think it's a great addition to MLS and also for LAFC.
He's as good a midfielder, probably the best midfielder. You look at Rodrigo de Paul, maybe one or two others.
The best midfielder in MLS?
I think he's the best midfielder.
He's up there.
I think he's right at the very top of the MLS
all-round
midfielder. Yeah, definitely.
I love Kubas, but Eustaquio's better all-round player than Kubas.
Eustaquio's better, And if even you look at the weekend, you see the goal, the first goal that LAFC scored at the weekend, he won the ball, he had the awareness immediately, it was just a forward pass. Opens the game up, the goal comes off the back of that. There was scenarios in the game as well where he's created chances.
You'd rather go into the World Cup with Stefan Eustaquio than Rodrigo de Paul?
No, I think that's the level that he's at as a midfield player.
But if he's the best in MLS...
I would for Canada. I don't know if... For me, he's
a World Cup winner.
We're going to argue
he's
about
a World
this
Cup
best,
winner.
the best. It's, guys have got different attributes,
yes.
but he's definitely in the discussion, top five.
He's right near the top.
For sure.
He's the top two or three midfield players, and I think that's why they got him, didn't the LAFC? They got him, and we spoke about other clubs should have gone to try and really make a big play to get him in. That's not happened, but just on what you said right at the start, playing 90 minutes, he's going to play 90 minutes virtually every week in that side. He's that good within that side with Son and Boanga, even Martinez scoring goals at the weekend. They're going to take some stopping, aren't they? They are the best side, and they're probably going to, if they continue it, they'll go on and win the
As a whole, probably better than Miami.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, I would say so.
And you saw Messi's frustrations at the end of that game and having to go at the referee. There was some talk that he followed him towards the locker room. And I mean, Miami just looked off it. Dane Sinclair with a mistake as well. The spotlight is going to be on him every week this season.
For sure.
And that could be an issue compared to where he was in Minnesota before.
Yeah, well, much more scrutiny. Every little mistake will be analysed and talked about, and ultimately, if he keeps making mistakes, he's going to find himself
He's
out
going
of the
to be
team.
way more exposed. You see the way that Inter Miami play.
Yeah. Does it suit his game, Kev?
No.
To be up high?
No, not at all.
Making decisions coming out. That's how he had his mistake, wasn't it?
Look,
caught no man's land.
That's exactly what happened. They play such a high line. They squeeze right to the halfway line. Now, he's then going to have to be a little bit braver. He's got to come 10 or 15 yards further off his line than he probably normally would.
But you know that when you sign for them. That's how they play. And he's decided that presumably that gives him the best chance to be the best version of himself.
Yes.
I'll tell you what won't work for him if he's tentative. Like he was on Saturday. He has to be brave. He has to be front-footed. I think that Emi Martinez, as an example, is not the most mobile of goalkeepers, but when he comes, Donnarumma, you could say is another one.
Yes.
I know they're world-class goalies, but as they come, they come full.
Definitely.
And they're big and they're strong, and there's not a lot of strikers that want to get into a 50-50 with them. Sinclair has to be that type of profile if he's going to play on the edge of his box.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is MLS goalie of the year last year made a lot of saves. The way that Minnesota played, they defend a lot deeper. So a lot of the shots were 20, 25 yards, and if they were getting through, it would be not scrappy chances that teams are having against Minnesota, but they're more difficult to break down and open up than Miami are. Miami just, if you score three, we'll score four.
Expose the keeper.
Yes, that's it. They expose, that's a better point. So he will be exposed in different ways that he's never experienced before. And he's got Lionel Messi. He's going to be judged by Lionel Messi. Is he big enough to handle the pressure that Messi's going to put him under? Because Messi will question him before Mascherano or before the media, before the press and broadcasters are going to question Dane Sinclair. It'll be Lionel Messi. And that's who he's got to impress more than anyone, I think, if he's going to be a success there into Miami.
Yeah, and Maxime Crepeau apparently I saw some highlights, but had a decent game at the weekend. His debut for Orlando.
A friend of mine suggested it should have been 8 without Maxime Crepeau this weekend. Had an absolute outstanding game. So Look, again, I saw a lot of the highlights from it. We were working, so we missed a lot of the game. But
11 saves, which was the most of any keeper in MLS this season.
Yeah, that's
this
it.
weekend.
And I maybe questioning him, maybe the first goal, I think it was. I'd look at it and think maybe could have done better. Hypercritical, that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every goal you think the keeper could have done better. So.
Maybe. But he did make 2 or 3 excellent saves.
Yeah.
2 or 3 that I saw excellent saves.
Needs a good start, doesn't he?
And yeah, he's got it.
Needs a bit of confidence.
And
I know
he
didn't win, but as long as he is in form right away and looks as sharp as we've seen him in the past, not seen him for a while.
Maxime Crepeau, like Dane Sinclair, had options across the MLS, and he's chose Orlando. They've given him the right message that you're going to be a starter every week. Obviously, salary comes into it and everything as well. So if he continues like he started this weekend, I think, look, are we going to be having this debate again? Is it going to swing the other way from Sinclair? It's
well, you've said that by March, even by November, the number 1 position needed to be clear.
Yes.
I don't see anything right now that suggests that in March
they can make the
it's
decision.
not going to be anything other than split the keepers again and
what
one
did I
plays
say?
each game.
Right up to the very last. Right up to the very last stage, we'll be unsure who the goalkeeper is.
It's harsh, though, Stevie, on them both that way, though, isn't it?
There's nothing between these guys.
Yeah. And I'm with you.
They're good goalies on their day, but they have their faults, right? They're not that top level, or they're not young and they're going to really get better. They kind of are who they are at this point in their careers. There's not going to be a lot of improvement. Yes, one might be confident, more confident than the other, or less confident.
But it's always going to lead me back to Crepeau all the time. Experience is why I keep saying this.
Experience and the fact that he just seems to fit with the Canadian team better than Sinclair. Am I being harsh saying that, or is it just
I think so.
Somewhere around when he plays, they look more secure?
And Sinclair played really well in the Colombia game, didn't he? He made a couple of good saves, really good saves. But there's very little we can base both goalkeepers when they've both played for Canada. They've not made a whole lot of saves because Canada's not given a lot up. Dominating the area, they've not really had the chance to come out and take crosses and be the complete goalkeeper that we want to see. So we've not got a lot to base the decision on in the last year for both of them, have we? That's where it stands on it. So that's where I'm still going. If we have to look at it historically, I think Crepeau has been better historically. What he did at Copa still has to stand for now because there's not a lot we can base it off.
Well, they play each other this weekend as well. I think it's Orlando against Inter Miami this weekend. So.
It's always good to watch. It's so weird because they're 110 yards apart, but we're going to have an eye on them this weekend, aren't we?
So I'm sure we'll be talking about exactly the same thing a week from now on Park the Bus. Josh Sargent seems to be a big investment made by Toronto FC. We talked about the fact that they've got some good attacking pieces, maybe need to be better at the back from their the game against Dallas at the weekend. He's coming in to Toronto. Presumably, he still has a great deal of confidence that he can make the World Cup squad under Mauricio Pochettino, which I'm not sure about unless there are injuries, but he is on the... if it was a US race for the roster, he'd probably be on the bubble. Right? Josh Sargent on the outside for me.
This is
right now.
Luke Wileman's
US
race for the roster.
He should lead that.
I say we could both get him to make a decision on something. That'd be great.
He'd be on the bubble on the outside. He'd be on your... just outside.
22 million striker in the bubble.
22... Well, that's... Do you think that's worth the value? $22 million rising to $27 million with add-ons, which would be the most expensive transfer in MLS history.
No
paying Norwich
international goal
City
in 6 years.
And that would be more than Son.
6 years, no international goal.
With the add-ons, which are apparently supposed to be achievable.
Seven, sorry, my math is wrong. 7 years.
7 years.
Without an international goal. Luke would have told us
that
a
lot.
His knowledge.
I mean, he has played, but he's not played recently under Pochettino. He's not been...
Yeah, but I'm talking
he's had chances, though, with the US,
he's had opportunities.
He's had opportunities to start, and it's never really worked for him. Not to judge everything on international, but it's a lot of money. It
was what his value was when other clubs last summer...
And he was fancied in Bundesliga and fancied in the Premier League. People liked him, Leeds liked him, Sunderland liked him. But he was adamant he wanted to come back to North America. Toronto was his destination of choice. They've made it happen. You've got to say yet again, MLSC have went and said, there's a checkbook. Let's back the head coach and back the general manager and get them their striker. And it's just incredible that Toronto FC have went and spent the kind of money that we probably didn't think we would see for 3 or 4 years after Insigne and Bernardeschi.
That is the kind of money that, if you've got it, is transformational for a club. Depending how you choose to spend it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On the pitch, on a player, off the pitch, on your whole
MLS,
academy
3 or 4
system, whatever it
signings.
is. That kind of money is transformational for clubs around the world.
Yes.
So it needs to transform Toronto FC into a title winner.
22 million on Josh Sargent, and was it 8-10 million on Mihailovic?
Yeah.
Fees, transfer fees. Not talking about the millions
And
you're going to get
Mihailovic,
paid.
in fairness to Mihailovic, he's doing it, and he scored a good goal at the weekend. And you know what you're going to get out of Mihailovic. He'll probably get
he's going to get
6
numbers.
to 10 goals and 12 to 15 assists from him, won't you, across the season?
And if they click, surely Sargent's going to get
he has to.
15 to 20
With Mihailovic,
goals.
he has to score
Surely.
goals.
So he scored 2 goals in the Prem in 21-22, and then the next 3.5 seasons, 13 in the Championship, 16 in the Championship, 15 in the Championship, and then 7 in 23 this year.
Yeah.
He's
That's
a 1
what
in
he
3
is.
guy in a hard league most of his career. In the Championship, he's a 1 in 3 guy.
Yeah.
And for 22 million coming to MLS, that's going to be nowhere near good enough.
Yeah.
He's going to be a goal a game guy, I'd say.
Well, there are no goal a game.
Close to that.
Very
He's gonna
good
get
goal a game guy.
Surridge was
Goal a
20.
game.
Got 2 this weekend.
I've
Yeah.
exaggerated a bit with goal
He's gotta
a
be
game,
Sam
but
Surridge.
20 plus.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the top leaderboard of the goal scorers
Yeah.
list the entire season.
Yeah.
He's going to be that good for that kind of money.
And that's where you look at
And he could
Surridge.
be.
And everyone said the same about Latte at Atlanta last year,
and
and
it
it
was a
didn't
flop.
happen.
Yes.
It didn't happen. We'll see now with Atlanta, with Tata Martino, what happens. They didn't get off to a great start at the weekend, but that's the kind of... For someone like him, you see last year, it's always about every time Latte doesn't score, the fees mentioned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same as Josh Sargent.
Yeah. But also, you look at the collective as well. And Stevie said before about, look, you can't go away from home and concede 3 goals, or you can't score 2 and still lose that game.
Yeah.
Whereas the weekend, new signing, Walker Zimmerman, looked poor. I think defensively alongside him, it was
Kosi Thompson, centre-back.
Didn't look like a good partnership. So I think that's going to change going forward.
Yeah.
But Zimmerman has to be way better than he showed in his first game. So this puts more pressure on Sargent then, because if they're conceding 2, he's got to score at least 2 a game to get something from a match. And then you're relying on Mihailovic perhaps to score a goal. So from the look of them at the weekend, they're going to be perhaps a high-scoring side, but they're going to concede a lot of goals. So they've got to outscore sides pretty much like Inter Miami did last year. Miami's going to concede every week, but they're going to invariably, because of Messi and others, they're going to score 3 or 4 themselves.
Not normally a recipe for success in MLS, unless you have the players like Messi and Suarez and all the pieces that they had. So Sargent and Mihailovic need to be that level.
Yes.
And they are goal and assist the game guys.
Well, it's like Surridge and Mukhtar. It's that type of relationship you're looking at. You're looking at Dreyer and...
Every week.
Yeah, exactly. Other players where we talk about combo. Sonny Bawanga.
Yeah.
That's the levels that you're looking at.
They're going to be that level.
And that's ultimately where it is.
That's what they'll be judged on.
Yeah, interesting weekend in La Liga. Great battle at the top. Barcelona atop. Real Madrid lost to Osasuna. Villarreal top 3 ahead of Atletico right now.
Did anyone win that shot?
No, in fact, Villarreal facing Barcelona next weekend.
Still on the go.
We've got it here because I'm done with you guys.
We've got a different comp now, have we?
No, it's the same competition, but I'm done with you guys talking all over me.
We're going to be quiet this time.
So,
totally
you
quiet.
do it.
All right, here we go.
You do it.
I'll respect
Okay,
you.
so the Tejon jersey is still up for grabs,
Is
guys.
it?
Yes, it really is.
Really?
It was given to us courtesy of La Liga. I brought it back from Spain. It's closest minute to the goal. Earliest vote is still the tiebreaker, right? Is that clear?
Yeah.
You got that?
Yeah.
I can't read you. Writing 1 guess per person. So don't have any more than 1 guess, all right, Kev? You
Yeah,
get
it's
1
not worth
guess,
it.
1 time. The first guess at that number is the one that we'll take.
Yeah.
Must be in by 9 a.m. on Saturday, February 28th. Villarreal visit Barcelona, as my esteemed colleague just told us.
Is there a read
Be
for
good
it?
game.
La Liga,
Watching TSN Plus.
La Liga, the official TSN, the official broadcaster of La Liga.
TSN's La Liga's home in Canada.
Right, there you go.
Be watching.
Right. So
It's easy what he does, isn't it?
Yeah.
on a much more serious note, more abuse for Vinny Jr. this week. It's not been. I mean, last week what went on in the Champions League in Benfica was despicable, but it's gone over into the league this weekend as well against Osasuna, who's been under.
Yes.
under abuse from
I think with Vinny
crowd.
Jr. now, it's becoming too much, because this is a continuous thing that he's spoken about. And Graham Hunter, when he was on with us, spoke about the problems that La Liga's had in general around stadiums and racially abusing players. The reaction after the Benfica game last week, let's go to that one to start with here, Luke. And Jose Mourinho coming out, he's condemning Vinicius Jr. and his reaction and what he does in certain stadiums, without recognising what potentially, at that time, he's still defending his player, has actually happened. He's not condemning racism. He's not defending Vinny Jr. and the abuse that he receives. No matter what Vinny Jr.'s doing, if he's dancing in the corner flag, celebrating a goal, if he's winding up opposition fans, nothing he does warrants racial abuse. Nothing he does. Whatever he does,
not even close.
Whether you like him or loathe him, whatever it will be, as a player, or whatever his actions are, nothing warrants that. That is, it's outrageous, it's disgraceful.
And that should be the statement from everybody who's asked about it.
Exactly.
First thing you say,
not
the only thing that matters.
It doesn't matter whether your own player.
The only thing that matters. That's exactly it. That should be the first thing to say, look, we'll have a full... I believe what Mourinho should have been saying, look, we'll have a full internal investigation. We condemn racism of any sort. That should have been the message straight off the bat. Regardless, because Mourinho's message was saying, look, Vinny Jr., wherever he goes, it's no coincidence that every opposition supporter of Real Madrid goes straight for Vinny Jr. And I think Vincent Kompany spoke so brilliantly on it this weekend.
Great press conference.
If you see Vincent Kompany, if anyone gets it, see what he was saying around the... Brilliantly spoken. And this is exactly the message that he was trying to say is, look, regardless of what Vinny Jr. does and how he winds opposition players and supporters up, you've just got to focus on what he's saying first. Why would Vinny Jr. run to a referee and put the referee in the position that he put him in by saying that?
Also, why would he cover his mouth?
And I saw there was a lot of talk about it on various different places this weekend, but one of them I saw was basically, because the question was, how can it be proved? If he's saying he said something, he's saying he didn't say something. You would have had these battles throughout your career with various different things that players saying whatever it is, not racism specifically, but anything. If you cover your mouth with your jersey, then
you're saying something that you don't want the cameras to see.
So you should be presumed you shouldn't be able to cover your mouth.
No, you shouldn't.
Otherwise, you're presumed guilty.
And if anyone was in, and I know Mbappe was in the vicinity,
several players have said they heard it, haven't they?
I mean, there must have been Benfica players in the vicinity.
That's true.
Stand up, be a man, be a leader, and say what he said, so he can, get the ban that he deserves, and hopefully realise how wrong he's been, and
because the other thing
serve
it
his
does,
suspension and change,
You're right about the fact that this happens with Vinicius Jr. in La Liga a lot. Graham Hunter talks about it. Osasuna this weekend. But what Jose Mourinho coming out and not being strong enough on it does is then give it more...
Well, you're standing in the crowd and however you've been brought up, it gives you a licence to
do what you
want. Go and be abusive at the weekend. So it's the leaders like that we need to be strong and say
what I would say, I
the right
think
things.
You and I would have come into the game at a similar time. I'm a little bit older than you, but we came in a time off the back of, and we all watched football ourselves through the 80s over in England when stood on terraces. I think even as a kid, it was uncomfortable, the language that was being used. And we would have probably all heard various racist chants when we were kids to an extent. At games we would have gone to. And I think I definitely in England, growing up there and things like we all would, I think the game, football itself, moved the racial context and the racial talking points and the narrative and the language that was being used so far that I think by the end of my career, I was not experiencing it from terraces. Now, I heard it a few times and I saw it. I did hear the odd player racially abused on the field, and I'll say I heard it maybe once or twice, and I would have been
from another player
to another player, and I was disgusted when I heard it at the time. I remember,
but at that time it just got pushed aside, or no one, because the games weren't stopped back then.
The player wouldn't complain back then.
The player himself didn't complain, and I remember
which gives you a
questioning it on the field
and
questioning the player off the field, and that is the truth. That's what happened. But anyway, what I would just say, I think football and the authorities around football in England, UEFA, whatever it would be, I think English football in general, I think they did quite well with it. I think they really provided a platform for black players to really go and give their sentiment. I was coached by Cyril Regis, and Cyril Regis used to tell me. Cyril was amazing. He passed away a few years ago, Cyril. Great man when he was at West Bromwich Albion. And he would tell me the stories when he was playing at West Brom through the 70s and 80s and various clubs, and the abuse, the racial abuse. It was just, as soon as you go out for the warm-up, just continued until the final whistle of the game itself. So I think the game has moved away from when I was playing, so far away from that. And I think that was the thing that I would be very proud of myself and my teammates over the years, that we would always call it out. If it was there, it would have been called out, and absolutely would have been. So the game moved on so far from it. And that's the thing where I was proud of our game itself and my changing rooms and my teammates and people that I would have been with, that I wouldn't say, of course, we'd not eradicated it, but virtually it felt like it wasn't even an issue. Now, the odd time you'd hear it from terraces, but other than that, I think that the game moved on so much, and I think we've done so much. And then you'd hear European football, and wherever you went, maybe with international sides, some of our players racially abused. And FIFA then, or UEFA and FIFA, I suppose, giving paltry fines out to nations and teams. That wasn't working. It wasn't working. Then there was closing stadium bans for racial abusive behaviour or whatever it would be. That wasn't working. I think they had to clamp down on it with points bans and things like this. I still feel that now. That's never been the case, that if a player is found guilty of racially abusing another player or supporters of racially abusing players on the field, that team should be stripped of points, and it should really cost them. It should really hinder them. That's the only way to really get away from this and fully eradicate it. And that's the way that I feel on it.
But the one question I've got, though, Kev, is did it actually improve, or did it just change its vehicle? What I mean by that is, did it come off, 10, 20,000, 5,000, whatever the number is, in the terraces, shouting it out loud and become a social media thing?
But there you go. And it's happening this week with...
I mean, it's despicable, the things that get said to these young men, these amazing athletes on social media. Despicable. Because someone's behind a keyboard,
I would say, I remember, I'll probably need to chat around this now. Do you remember when we did our teams for the Euros, didn't we? We did our teams for the Euros, and I had mentioned something around Bukayo Saka going off with 20 minutes to go, and I was accused of racism because of that. Now, that was a football thing. That is a football thing. I've had many teammates that get to 60 minutes in games, socks roll down, I'm done. That's it. Week after, won't he be fit? Is he going to be fit? Would always call them bench watchers. You've seen enough of players like that. That is absolutely, and I would categorically deny that is a racist thing or racist connotations that I would have been using to describe Saka in that moment. I just found that he was going off with 20 minutes to go, and won't he be fit for the following week? That's a football thing. Nothing would have ever entered my mind that I would be racially profiling Bukayo Saka in that moment. Absolutely no chance, and I would categorically deny that. But what I would say within that is that there are at times where the narrative around players, with how they dress, with how people are being judged because of how they dress racially, and you can't go down this line. It's just it's horrendous the way the narrative has gone around just judging someone for how they look and things like this. And I know I have the jokes about caps backwards and all this sort of thing, but it's just
everybody's free to express themselves.
Do what you want. Do what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't the thing we talk about most weeks on this the fact that the character of the game is gone, and we've got this young football player who's unbelievable, so exciting to watch. Dances when he scores. There's this exuberance,
Well, the World Cup wants that this summer.
But he's
the World Cup is going to be a better World Cup.
Right.
Vinny Jr.
is
one of the stars of the show and dancing and celebrating.
He also brings personality to the game, right? Where you love him or you hate him because of his antics.
Yes.
He's a personality, isn't he? He scores great goals. He does exuberant things. He's colour towards the game of football that's amazing.
Yes, exactly right.
Everyone wants to see these kind of players thrive and be part of the game, because guess what? We're in pubs and shows and podcasts all over the world talking about these players and how they bring this amazing exuberance to the game.
Definitely.
And this poor young lad is probably, his mental health's been affected. He's got to stay inside. He's curbed in terms of how he can live his life this past week and probably these past years because of what he gets. It's sad, isn't it?
It's so vocal in stadiums, you can hear it. Can you imagine privately when he's looking at his Instagram or his Twitter or whatever it would be, and he is seeing what's been written about him? Remember England at the Euros a couple of years ago
when they missed the penalties,
missing penalties, and they
Rashford and Saka, was it? Rashford, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. And they were racially abused. They were just. I mean, it's outrageous. And this is the sort of thing around this World Cup. Somebody's going to miss a penalty in a penalty shootout, and does it matter? Or it obviously doesn't matter. What I'm saying, like, what's going to happen is these will be, if it's a black player will get abused because of the colour of his skin, and a white player, if he missed a penalty, would be he's just crap because he missed a penalty.
Yeah.
How can you differentiate it? That's where we are on it. And this is the problem, that the social media aspect around it is going to be continuous, especially in such a high-profile event like the World Cup.
I'd like to see players walk off. And I know they've...
If it happened in a stadium, yes.
Walk off and don't come back on.
The game's
that's
done.
the biggest impact that you can have.
Don't be persuaded to come back on in the match.
No,
so you
don't
walk
come back
off.
on.
You mean the team the team should support the player, obviously.
Yeah.
But then the question, then it's down to FIFA or UEFA, whoever it is that's running that game. What do you do with that game?
To show some balls.
Right.
Yes.
So what's going to happen?
That's what I was going to say, because have you got 100% certainty that if a team walks off in the World Cup, that FIFA's not going to say, you're 3-0 loss?
Yeah. Well, that's not.
Are UEFA?
No,
I say that about FIFA?
No, guys, are
agree.
UEFA going to give Benfica a 3-0 win or whatever it would be because the biggest club in the world, the most European Cups and Champions Leagues ever, there's no more powerful a club in world football than Real Madrid.
Yes.
Walk off the field in support of their teammate and say, we are under no circumstances coming back on that pitch.
I'm agreeing with you.
Take it off us. Kick us out of the tournament.
Yeah.
We're totally behind this guy.
Yeah.
This is where we are. We're going to go to the level. I know, but does it matter at that point? Does it matter if UEFA kick Real Madrid out of the tournament or, award a does it matter? Because this is more important than that.
It doesn't matter. Right. Exactly right.
And can you imagine the effect that would have and the trickle down when
it
happens in Scotland or it happens in Italy or wherever it happens, and teams start walking off until something really is done about it.
Teams like Benfica would suffer financially in every way if they were given a year ban and this is a sort of level that UEFA and FIFA need to get to.
Crack down on it properly.
It's not putting stadium or supporter bans on stadiums and the game goes ahead. It's taking points off them. It's really punishing them that's going to have an effect on them for a year or two beyond it. That's the way that you have to look at it. And that's the only way that you can actually start to have an impact on this and start to change the direction and the narrative around it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see as they move forward what happens here with Vinicius Junior. But obviously, everyone's waiting to see what comes out of the incident in Benfica. But moving towards...
If you love good football players, back the guy. If you're in a stadium, you're lucky enough to watch him play, show him your support. Because I can only think what the young man's going through.
Taping this
horrible.
before the second leg, by the way.
It makes me feel sick.
No, I think exactly what he's going through privately is going to be way worse than what we're seeing publicly. That's the whole point of it. That when he gets home and he's the family around him, because that's the worst thing.
He'll feel so lonely
when we all have it. How many times have you said to them, have you seen that? What's been written about you? Have you seen that?
It affects you.
Yeah.
And can you imagine the levels that?
Yeah, and that's the problem with
Vinicius Junior's getting.
It's back home in Brazil.
It's been going on for a long time.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to. I think we'll probably talk about it again in the future. It's outrageous, it's disgraceful, it's disgusting, and the game has to back him. As you say, the authorities have to back him.
In a big way.
It's not just players like Kylian Mbappe coming out speaking about it, or his manager speaking about it. It's UEFA or FIFA. They're the authorities that have got to back him at this stage now. Just
onto something a little more of a positive story, and in a sporting way, not what we've just had to go through there, talking about the things that Vinicius has had to put up with, and you say maybe eradicated within locker rooms and stuff like that in England, but the social media side of things is just horrendous.
Absolutely.
So it has to be addressed. So yes, we are taping before the second leg of Benfica against Real Madrid.
Yes.
Also taping before the second leg of Bodo Glimt's game. And on a positive in Champions League last week, Bodo Glimt, incredible story. So far north.
I know.
such a small place. I think it's 55, 60,000 people. They've now beaten Inter, Atleti, and Manchester City.
It's unbelievable.
Like, what a story!
I know, absolutely
for the game.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable story. They're the stories that we love, that we love to see when a small club goes on and excels. They're rarely given the chance to. Financially, they're not put in a position to go and compete against these teams. So, I mean, Stevie, you've got a better knowledge than me on football. Had you heard of Bodo Glimt 3 years ago?
No.
There
they
you
had
go.
the Europa League campaign where they did well.
Yes,
was that last year?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And that was the first time we're like, really?
Yeah.
These guys had to know they were playing in Europe, really?
Exactly.
Until that point. And then they start winning some games and big backyards, and you go, wow.
Do you think that obviously it's a turf pitch rather than grass because of the weather conditions that they have to play in? Do you think that makes a difference?
Yes.
Yeah, it helps, but they're beating teams everywhere.
Yeah,
they're winning away games as well.
Yeah.
No,
they're beating teams. They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a really good team.
I remember I did a Champions League game a few years ago. It was Young Boys. I think it was Young Boys and Spurs. I was in Switzerland for the game. And
Turf pitch.
You could see the body language on the Spurs players in the warm-up when they were just doing the little passing drills, little bits of movement. You could see every one of them kicking the turf.
Yeah.
You know, if you get that in your mindset before the game, it affects you, doesn't it? And you know, we kind of knew. I think Spurs ended up winning the game, I think.
We talked about this a few weeks ago with Crystal Palace going to Macclesfield.
Yeah.
How do you go into a stadium and players...
You have that message. As soon as you know that you're playing that side on the turf, you have that message going in. I'm talking weeks before.
You know that they've beaten other teams as well. So if you're Inter, how are your players not ready for this?
Not prepared, yes.
How are they just a few steps down because it's an 8,000 stadium in the middle of nowhere?
The fact is, they don't play on turf, do they, at any stage? So they're not used to how the ball's flowing. So that just gives that it's a leveller. It's a leveller. It absolutely is a leveller.
But I think we're disrespecting how good the team's done, Bodo Glimt's done. How well coached they are and how organised they are to play to their strengths as a team and their advantages of being at home, whether that's a smaller, tighter capacity stadium and an ardent fan base or a turf pit, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Every team in the world uses their advantage. Like Real Madrid's advantage is they wear this resplendent white kit and they're in an amazing stadium, one of the best in the world, and they beat you in the tunnel because you look at them and you remember 10, 12 European Cups, whatever the number is, Champions Leagues, and they beat you then. Bodo Glimt is that they're horrible to play against. It's in a part of the world that weather is a factor, the surface is a factor, and they're well organised and they've got good players.
I agree that using it to your advantage. We talked about Wigan early on, but I played for Wigan when we were in a bit of trouble in the Premier League. And we were having very large downpours at the time, like typical Manchester weather, I suppose. But we had what do you call it, like a tent type thing, marquee type thing, where it was air blown and it was a tent trying to cover the pitch off the rain. Now what happened was this thing collapsed at the top, the middle, so it went straight down the middle. So the water just flooded straight down the middle of the field, and as they were dragging it off, it was dragging more and more water. The water couldn't free off the field. So there was a huge mud patch right down the middle of the field that just wouldn't go to the end of the season. And I remember Steve Bruce was the manager and said to our coaching staff, do not work on it. We've got Arsenal to come, we've got Man United to come, or whoever was coming to our stadium. This is the leveler. This is going to keep us in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it kept us in the Premier League.
It did.
And
Kilbane saw all the ball.
He was at wide.
I was having to get me quality right then.
That's why it kept you in the Premier League, because you got more ball.
Maybe
you were the star player.
When
I was at Burnley, you guys know the tunnel at Burnley where the dressing room is, behind the goal. We call it wind tunnel. Because as you come in off the bus, as that door opens, the wind just blows right down this tunnel. So you know it as a home player. You feel it every day. We used to change at the stadium. It's changed now because they've got a wonderful training ground that we actually paid for because we got to Premier League, but that's another story.
So you personally paid for Burnley?
Well, I was part of it.
The legacy of Burnley is down to Caldwell.
My team paid for it, all right. So as you come in any day to go training, you're freezing. It's horrible. You hate it. But it's you're horrible, and it's what you know, isn't it?
I remember it.
And we, Kev,
well.
you played there.
Many times.
We used to watch Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. We watched them all come off the bus, come down that tunnel in their faces, and we would be sitting there.
When you see the shiver.
We're like this. This is amazing.
It is one of the coldest places anyway.
Yeah.
These guys don't want this. Whatever they say, now their quality might come through, and we never won every game, but we won a lot of games because we won them at that point.
When
they got in that tunnel.
The results is the factor. Whether it's a win or a draw, they were the ones that got you over the line, weren't they?
And that was our competitive advantage. Yeah. So everyone's going to use theirs. Bodo Glimt, I think, is a remarkable story that needs to be studied more, and maybe we can really dig into that, because what they've done, what that coach has done with A players is remarkable. Great to watch.
There's a story actually this weekend. There was a game it was at the National League or National League North in England that was called off because the pitch was waterlogged. But the home team didn't want the game on.
So they sprayed it with water.
They had the sprinklers on as the rainstorm was coming on to get the game called off.
I've got a few stories on that.
I'll tell you, there was actually a story.
Well, if you've got injuries, you want the game off. There's some dodgy stuff that goes on when you know a frost coming. The groundsman might just leave the tap on for a little bit longer. That definitely happens. Definitely happens.
Well, you wouldn't.
I'm not going to name names, but that happens.
There was a big derby in the League of Ireland this weekend. Dundalk against Drogheda United, right? So Dundalk play on a plastic, on an AstroTurf pitch as well. So what the Drogheda United fans did, they threw flares onto the pitch.
Right.
And the Astro pitch in the corner is ruined.
Burnt a hole.
It's burnt holes in the field, so all over the field in the corner.
Wow.
It's got holes. So they're on about criminal damage because of it now. Prosecutions down the line, but this pitch costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to replace. Yeah. So there you go. That's that's how to.
While we're on Ireland, I got to mention the magnificent Ireland's victory at Twickenham in the rugby. Against England.
Was it a good one?
Talking about it being the best performance ever.
It was unbelievable. I watched it. It was incredible. England had no answers. 2 weeks in a row, lost to Scotland, lost to Ireland.
Anytime Ireland beat England at anything, I'm on board with it. Even if I've not watched it. I didn't actually watch the game, but I
was texting you in the group chat.
I'm on board with it,
I thought you were going to say...
Scotland won as well, by the way, against Wales.
He mentioned it was a derby weekend in Ireland. I thought you were going to say, speaking of derbies, Sheffield United beat Sheffield Wednesday. In the Steel City derby. By the way,
who were you playing against? Under 15s?
This was history.
Sheffield Wednesday's got no players.
I know. They had an older squad than the Blades, actually.
Did they?
Because
really?
we've got a lot of talented young kids.
Really, yeah.
Who we're fending off offers all over the place, the Premier League, for all of our young kids.
Right.
Has Wilder done a great job coaching
You should do a study of the Sheffield United Academy, by the way, because it's a good one.
Okay.
But the point being, this is true. Yeah. This is why it's history.
Yeah, I know the history you're going to talk about,
Because for the first, by the way, and they set it up perfectly on Sky Sports, because they were talking, as the teams are in the tunnel, the Sheffield derby, Sheffield, the home of football, home of the oldest club in the world, home of the oldest stadium in the world, and now a bit of history can be made today, because for the first time ever, Sheffield United relegated Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
So by winning yesterday at Bramall Lane, they're down.
Earliest ever
relegation. To be fair, they've had a lot of problems with their owner.
The biggest team in Sheffield relegated from the Championship.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's a shame, real shame.
I don't like it.
It's the biggest team, Mike.
You're a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger.
It's very close. It's very close.
But they are
I will give you that.
But they are a bit bigger.
But no, it's very close.
It's
very close.
Yeah.
But great game. Biggest.
I'm gutted about it.
One of the biggest days we've had.
I've got a mate. Tommy Craig does Murdoch Mysteries and Coronation
he's a big Wednesday fan.
Big Wednesday fan, Tommy. So I got to send him a consolation text today. He'll be gutted.
He always used to send me. I don't know if he lost my number or just gave up, but he always used to send me some stuff about Wednesday United. And the problem was last summer or the summer before, I actually went to watch a Sheffield Wednesday game when I was over there. And I'm walking over to the main entrance at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday, I think, against Leeds. Walking across the bridge, you go over the river, across this bridge to the main entrance, and I see him standing there. And I said to Hudson, I'm like, we got to go a different way. Because I know for a fact that if he saw me, he'd be like, Sheffield United fan, right here, right, and I would have been in big trouble. But anyway, no, it was a great.
You can't be happy with that. A fan of football in Sheffield.
No. I worry, but you talk about financially and everything. Like Sheffield Wednesday
shows you what an owner can do.
He destroyed that club. He's gone now, though, isn't he? But they got a
But now they don't have an owner. They're in administration, and if they don't get the right owner, they start on -15 next year if the finances aren't right.
We want to see clubs like that.
Terrible.
As high as they can be.
Big club. And I know I joke with you about that with Sheffield, but when I was a kid growing up, Sheffield Wednesday were a Division 1 side, and they were a top top-class side with some... Chris Waddle, one of my favourite players of all time, playing in that amazing Sheffield Wednesday side. David Hurst.
What a striker.
No one else cares, though.
Yeah.
John Sheridan.
John Sheridan, what a player. Cup winners, they beat Man United in the League Cup in 93, I think it was.
But I've said no one else cares about Sheffield football, but we did give the game to the world.
Yeah, did they?
We did give the game.
That's a very English attitude, as I always say.
No, the city of Sheffield
coming home
has the oldest ever club.
Yeah, we know.
And the oldest stadium.
I know.
And we made the rules.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Yes, yeah. So there you go.
You invented VAR.
So you know how all English fans tell the world that they give everybody the game. When they tell Brazil and Germany, France, we gave you the game. Sheffield is like that in England. It's very interesting.
It's true.
We give England the game that give it to the world.
Give it to the world.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's coming home. It's coming home.
Oh, it is coming home. The bandwagon's going to start soon. Wait for Luke singing that song. There we go.
By the way, Harry Kane's on fire.
Oh yeah, best striker
England
in the world.
striker.
Best striker ever.
He is actually the best.
Now, you're being sarcastic,
Best striker
and he fills our WhatsApp chat every weekend with Harry Kane propaganda.
He is, guys.
And
Harry Kane, in fairness to him, he's so good at World Cups in knockout stage games and Euro Championship. He's like you will see the best of Harry Kane when push comes to shove. Harry Kane will be there when it matters.
I'm disappointed in you because you're allowing your bitterness, your bias to come over you here. What a striker that guy is.
No doubt.
He's done so well.
I think Harry Kane is quality.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's class. But watch him in the Euros.
I knew you had to say something. He can't.
It's like, just keep quiet. He cannot.
Awkward silence, and he has to say.
So you're saying he's not a world-class striker?
I never said that.
I'm asking you.
No, what I'm saying there is you watch him in the World Cup when push comes to shove in a knockout stage. Last 8 games for England when they're playing France.
But that's when world-class players have to do something.
Well, he's never done it.
To be world-class.
But he's never done that. So that's why.
That's why he says it. But I think this might be different. He's playing at such a level. Yeah. He really is.
Yeah. Do you know when England needed to win the Euros in 21, when they needed to win the World Cup semi-final against Croatia, you lean on your main man, Harry Kane. What happened?
Well, it's sport, isn't it? We saw the Canadian boys lose a gold medal this weekend, didn't we?
We're bringing all sports into it this weekend.
It's breaks, isn't
Rugby, it? Hockey,
McKinnon, one of the best players in the world. Yeah. Top 5, 3, whatever it is. Yeah. Misses basically an open net. It's sport. That's what happens.
Canada with Conor McDavid. You know what I think of Conor McDavid? Wow.
I love him, don't you?
Didn't happen.
And with that, we'll leave it because I just heard that now James Duthie's asked for you to be on the hockey panel tonight.
Yeah.
Gotta go, get over it.
You gotta go and get...
Are you going to put a text in? I'm sick of getting this, just a blank from James Duthie. Every time I text him, you fancy coming on.
I'll throw a text in.
You throw him in.
He's too big for us. Yeah. He's bigger. He
was in Italy, to be fair. He was at the Olympics.
I saw him in Milan.
So he'll come on next Monday.
I saw him across about 3 different networks in Milan, to be honest with you. So fair play to him.
Yeah, he's bigger than Park the Bus.
I think he might come on next week. We'll ask him.
Yeah? OK. Well, hopefully, this time next week, we are talking about somebody winning the Tajon Buchanan jersey.
Yes.
Hope so.
Let's see.
Needs to go with that jersey.
But for now, thanks for watching or listening to Park the Bus. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching Park the Bus. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.